StoneTribe! Get to the fucking thing, Mike. StoneTribe! There they are! Hey! There they go. There they go. There they go. It's very similar, but could maybe be a funky coincidence. Maybe, yeah. You know, that's a great launching point, Morb. So what do you guys think? And welcome, guys. Could you introduce yourselves real quick before we jump in here?
Yeah, what's up, man? I'm Nate, and this is Dan from StoneTribe, and you're Mike.
I'm Mike. That's me. I did it. I am me. Oh, that's you guys. And then, hey, there. Now you can see my stupid face. There you go. Okay, that was ridiculous. But yes, thank you guys so much for being on the show. And I thought that Morby brought up a great point that it's very similar, but could maybe be a funky coincidence. So, you know, we're talking about the article sound system and the Dua Lipa Levitating, the song that's been on the Hot 100 hits. I mean, it's a massive success. You know, she's probably made a good amount of money off this. And when you listen to these songs back to back, you do hear a similar thing. So I don't know. What do you guys think? And you guys actually have ties to Article Sound System. So this is probably hitting a little bit closer to the heart for you guys. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's a funky coincidence, or do you think it's a blatant ripoff?
Well, as a songwriter, I think we can all say it's the same chords. Exactly, which, of course, that can mean a lot of things, because with blues, you always use the same three chords. Yeah. Most pop music's the same. But the rhythm, the vocal melody, the vocal rhythm, it's just like it's a carbon copy of the hook. It's the same hook. Yeah. So I personally feel, yes, they absolutely heard that and copied it. There's no question in my mind. And I don't want to be unfair to anybody, because, of course, you know, who wants to do that? But I have to stick with my convictions, and hell yeah, they stole that.
Yeah, I say pay them their dues. They wrote the song.
That's right. Article.
Yeah.
We support your article.
No, you know what? I tend to agree, because even though Article Sound System is an up and coming band, this song's been out since 2017. Morby's convinced. Okay, convinced. This song's been out since 2017. We just read that in an article. And then, of course, Dua Lipa's song was released in 2020. So technically, she could have, or the producers or the songwriters could have heard this song one way or another. I've read an article where they are claiming that they had heard it, but I don't think that there's any solid proof yet. So, but again, it's very similar. It's very similar. It's really hard to say that, man, that is not the same. I
didn't know that it had reached on the reggae charts. Their original song had reached like number 2 on the reggae charts that year when it came out.
Okay.
So it was already notable in that scene, and obviously, you know, reggae charts may not get the same notoriety that other genres get in, you know, the mainstream, but if it's number 2 in the charts, people are hearing it whether they want to or not, at their friend's house, at the right club. Right, if you're hanging out with cool people listening to reggae music, then probably can hear that song on rotation. So
absolutely, yeah, no, that's a great point too. Is like the song was already, you know, charting, and you don't know who's listening to what, you don't know who's who, you know, like people are out there, so it could have very easily been heard, especially if it's charting in one way or another. I mean, it's just how it works. So yeah, you know, like when we were kind of talking about how Tom Petty was suing, what's his name? Was it Sam Elliott?
Yeah.
Elliott and Tom Petty. I'm just sort of going through this. Hold on, guys. She Won't Back Down. And I Won't Back Down, the Sam Elliott song. And then what was, wait a second.
Because I won't back down.
Yeah, that's the Tom Petty song. And then, yeah, what's funny is Sam Elliott actually went on to cover "I Won't Back Down." What was the Sam Elliott song? I can't remember. In any case, you could hear the similarity of those two songs, but in my opinion, I was like, I hear it, I hear the melody, I hear what Tom is talking about, but I felt like it was just different enough that it, wasn't a direct ripoff. And, I believe that Sam Elliott, even Tom Petty, who said, he's like, I believe that Sam Elliott didn't rip off my song. But someone who was in the studio or a studio head, producers, it went through a long line of people before it was released, and someone had to have heard that. So, Sam Elliott music thought, oh yeah, you're right. It's not Sam Elliott. Who is it?
No, it's not. We don't have the crystal ball in front of us.
We do have Google though, which can be somewhat of a crystal ball. What's the song that he sues?
I know what you're talking about too.
For thank you, Pete's in the Flow. I know you're right. Sam Elliott is the dude. We're gonna get this before we move on. We're getting this, okay? We got Sam Smith. There we go. They quietly settled the lawsuit. Is Stay With Me. Stay With Me. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Was seeing Sam Elliott sing Won't Back which he did actually copy it, I guess. That I just saw that quickly. But yeah, so Tom Petty and Sam Smith, Sam Smith was the one who had the just for correction, just so I'm not sending out misinformation. I don't want to be misinforming people. I don't want to be canceled for misinforming people. So yeah, so in that song, when you hear it, I felt like it was kind of different enough. But again, Tom Petty won that lawsuit, and so in the eyes of the law, it was the same melody. So it's very interesting to me. It's not the Grundy News Network here, no. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Sam Smith song and stuff? Like, do you think that was something that, again, maybe would have, or not again, but do you think that was something that was a happy little accident that happened, or a funky accident, or do you think that's something more sinister?
I mean, as writers and producers ourselves, there's always that fear that something you heard years ago comes back in your subconscious, and you don't remember where you came or where you got it from, but you're thinking, hey, this is pretty cool, and you go with it. So I actually love watching these when these happen. I hate it when it happens, obviously. It's scary for everybody. But when you watch this stuff, it's like it could happen to anybody, but some of them are really blatant, and you can tell this is like, I ran out of material and I'm going to borrow from where I think I can get away from it. Right. And other parts of it, it's like, ooh, I don't know, maybe, similar chords, similar rhythm, but they had a different idea. And I think that one was a lot more inconclusive.
Yeah.
The one on our plates now with the Article Sound System, Blue Deep, is like, man, I didn't even know they were playing different songs when they were playing Example on the radio. And they're like, no, that's the same song combined. And I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, man.
It's pretty scary. I mean, it's the same three chords, but at the end of the progression, they go back to, say it was a B minor or B minor 7.
Yeah.
If musicians and songwriters can't tell that the song itself is being changed when they change the sample, that's bad.
Oh man, it's really bad.
Right. And like, again, there was a whole network of people who that song, like Dua Lipa's song, had to go through. There's legal stuff that goes into these big signed artists, and so like a lot of stuff was overlooked, and or at least whether it was intentional or not, a lot of stuff was overlooked. And whatever the singer wants to say, if she's never heard the song or she don't know who the Article Sound System is, it doesn't really matter. It's like the facts of the matter are, like you just said, the chords are the same. You can tell, you can hear it, and it's just like, oh, this is too much. You guys have personal ties to Article. What can you guys go into that a little bit?
I actually didn't want to bring this up. You might want to pull up our YouTube channel because we might have to make some sort of claim in the future. I don't know if we want to go through and do legal stuff.
Oh, my bad.
You may want to check out this video we just posted just to kind of try to clear the air a little bit.
We just wrote a song last night that now we're a little concerned might sound a little similar to that one. I'm not sure though.
Okay, let's see what we can find here. Let's go to your YouTube channel here, And where is it? A new original song. And you just posted this 10 hours ago. Okay, so let's see. There's something a little sus going on here. So let's see what's happening with this song.
Hey, what up? StoneTribe just wrote this dope new jam. You gotta check it out. All day, all night, you're my sunlight. All day, you're my sunlight. I'm meditating. So that's our new song, and we just wrote it. So let us know what you think in the comments below. It's gonna be your summer jam. That's right. We're really proud of this original new track. Yeah, we wrote it ourselves, all by ourselves. Totally.
Totally. We totally did it. All that. I'm gonna like this, and I'm also gonna comment if I can. Where?
I'm just a little concerned now that maybe we wrote it with, after hearing one of those other two songs.
I don't know. I mean, right. You are saying different words, so I mean, it's different. It's different words. It's different. It's okay. So
nobody makes melodies like Nate either. So
he's the melody man. All right.
We always figure with music that at some point you're gonna run out of stuff because it's the same exact amount of notes, the same exact language dictionary, and yet for thousands of years, well, at least since recording's been available, people have been at it. And so it's just kind of interesting that we're still coming up with original music. Well, at least some of us.
Yes, everything's been done. But because there's that old saying, is like, there's only 12 notes, right? And we're all working with the same 12 notes. And I don't know. I'm constantly hearing the same chord progressions over and over and over again. But I mean, I feel like if you got something to say, I really love the approach of this new wave of R&B going on, where these really simple chords, like Daniel Caesar or Her or Janae Aiko, they're using these simple chord progressions, some of them, and and these are regular just pop chord progressions, but their flow, their melodies, their harmonies are all ringing something old, something new, and some, what I mean? So we're always building off of something, right? But it takes real artists to go and actually figure out how to navigate that and find an original voice. Do you guys feel like you've hit that spot where you're able to write something original, new, and do you feel like you guys are there?
That's like an ever-changing thing, but
of course.
I definitely think that both Nate and I have our own voice and sound, because when you hear us, it's very distinctive. And it's StoneTribe, just like when you hear Led Zeppelin, it's Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd. And
right.
So I think that we're very happy with that. We're really not trying to copy anybody, and of course those things are always going to come out in your playing, your influences. But for the most part, I do think that we have our own sound, but it is ever developing and changing. And that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, you guys, I was listening to your guys' tunes, and I was really digging what you guys were doing. Like, I'm a huge fan of psychedelic music. I used to not used to, but I was, I followed the Dead around and Fish and stuff. So psychedelic is in my nature, and reggae, of course, is my shit. It's always been a beautiful, consistent thing in my life. But yeah, I really dig what you guys do, where you sort of mix these different genres. I mean, even to the point of EDM. It's like you guys have sort of this EDM thing going on, where you have some remixes going on. What is it that where are you drawing from, and what was the idea behind sort of making sort of this conglomerate of sound, and was it something that was conscious that you were going for?
Not with the EDM specifically. That was more just availability of like the right partnerships at the time, and just being willing to experiment and kind of push the envelope as much as we could. We're just always experimenting with different ways to like refresh what's out there, you know. Like Dan said, we don't want to bite on anything, but we want to borrow from the roots of everything that's good that's already out there, and then just kind of make it our own. So with EDM, it was like Funk Star Deluxe. He's been around the music scene for decades. I mean, he's best known for the Bob Marley remix that he did back, was it the 80s or the 90s?
It was 99, Sun is Shining, and he sold like 1 million copies before YouTube existed. So huge accomplishment. I think that's going gold. Do they do that anymore?
Do they do?
I don't know if they do it for gold anymore. Gold's worth too much now to give artists a gold record.
There you go.
Now it's like they'd have some cereal brand or something.
Yeah, I mean, that whole I don't know how that works anymore. It's like, did you stream? Do you gold streaming? Or, you know, like no one's selling albums really. It's like, did you stream? What did you stream it 1 million times or something? Like, I don't know. I don't know how they quantify it. I don't know how they even quantify success anymore. It's just like, I guess this works. I don't know. It's such a crazy market, and when you think about how many people are just adding stuff to Spotify or these streaming services every day, you know, like hundreds and thousands of people all the time. And so, like, where do you even start, and where do you even end with quantifying what's good, what's not, what's, you know, what's successful, what is? Yeah, I have no idea. It's beyond me.
For those on the cutting edge, which I've never considered myself to be on the cutting edge, but those that are like watching it now, I think are the ones who are excited to watch this chapter fold. And that's me personally, because I haven't been a fan of the streaming is the only way to go. Like, I love it when you have all sorts of different platforms, all sorts of different mediums, and you know, I think CDs are like long gone at this point, but there are still some stores that are still like, please come and buy our records, keep us in business.
Yes.
They have to sell vinyl if they want to stay in business these days.
It's true.
That's pretty much the only physical medium that's selling anymore, other than just streaming. And it's only owned by so few different corporations that, you know, it's just really kind of robbing the individual control of the artists. And so this next chapter is coming from the cryptocurrency industry of all things, and they're gonna supposedly give artists the same ability as any of these cryptocurrencies to just have their own ecosystem and decide what their art's worth, how they want to sell it, how they want to give it to their fan base, and if their fan base really wants to support that artist, then they have so many different ways to do it. It's so much more inclusive than what you get on all these other different platforms. So I'm really looking forward to that personally.
Yeah, me too. I love that Snoop Dogg is like, you know what, Death Row's an NFT label now. Roll a blunt, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Pioneer.
Yeah, man. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And when you look at these other artists who's found a lot of success from NFTs, and Jesus, I can't remember any of them. My brain is just terrible. Let me just look at NFT. Google.
I'm a little shocked how it's
Grimes. That's right, Grimes. Who did you say?
I was just saying, I'm a little shocked how expensive it is. Like, I thought as an entry-level product, maybe they'd like ease it in. It's clearly not for the folks that are the ones normally buying the CDs.
Right. Well,
buying the t-shirts. It's the folks buying the Kanye car.
Yes, the Kanye. Every pair of Yeezys comes with an album that you can remix yourself. NFTs to the moon. Kanye is doing something a little different as well, where he has his little player, right? He's selling his player for $200, where you can actually remix the music yourself. There's effects on it, and you can use it for your own mixing purposes. And apparently the effects are pretty good, and it sounds pretty good, and it's pretty cool. But you know, what was he saying? He said that he was clearing about $2 million. Last time I checked, it was like $2 million he was clearing off the sales of his latest album, Donda 2, with the player. I don't know where it's at now, but then I also heard that he walked away from a $20 million deal with Apple Music. So, what is it? What is success, right? What is did he get his money back? Did he recoup? I don't know. I don't know. Like I've only found like one article about it last week. So I don't know, man. Like I do like to see these different avenues because, like it or not, people looked at the streaming industry as a new way of sort of getting rid of the gatekeepers, and just for it to sort of be captured, to be recaptured by the gatekeepers, right? And now people are like, I gotta pay all this money to get on a playlist or whatever it is. Like you have to pay, and so the gatekeepers are kind of back, especially with algorithms and you got technology working against you, and I don't know where does this all sit with you guys?
Well, I'd say the very same thing can be said about cryptocurrency.
Right.
Because it's supposed to be this decentralized thing. However, all of these major corporations and companies and people with most of the money are taking over.
They'll find a way. You remember when algorithm was a good word, and now it's a scary one? It's used against me.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Going like you're saying, like things are getting sort of recaptured or captured by these institutions that are being created by the people that are supposed to be sort of decentralized, are getting captured by these centralized companies, corporations. Even back, what was it? I mean, the Flow knows exactly about this. We were talking about it back when the AMC thing was going on, where people were, there were big corporations. It turns out big corporations were sort of dumping, and they were involved in sort of manipulating that market as well. They saw, and it was something that was started as sort of a protest, and then pizza's still holding, by the way. Pizza's like, I could have bought a house. I'm holding, bitch.
You're talking about when they artificially blew up the stock market, all the little investors, the retail investors. Yeah. Just shows the power of the people, man. As long as you put unity behind any good movement, and you can move mountains with it.
Yep.
Yeah, if it doesn't get captured by corporate interests.
Yeah.
Which really sucks, it really sucks. And like when you see the sort of capitalistic and vulture, the way that they're sort of working now, like with this whole Joe Rogan thing that happened with Neil Young a couple weeks ago. And it turns out Neil Young has this, it was, I don't think it was a ploy, but I think it was definitely, they were able to connect it to his new deal he had with Amazon Music. You know what I mean? So they're looking for ways, even if it means destroying someone else's career, which they didn't even harm Joe Rogan's career. I mean, whatever anyone has to say about Joe Rogan, he's fine, and like he's more popular now. They've only catapulted him into the next level of notoriety. So whatever, but it's very interesting to me where people are going, and I was kind of touching on this at the beginning with Kanye West, and I really respect how he goes about his. Even if it is a little over the line sometimes with like the rap Illuminati or even with this latest thing, or even with Trump, I feel like that whole MAGA hat thing was part of a marketing scheme because it all coincides with releases. And so that to me, so like people are the old days of the over bloated music industry, jet planes and stuff, that's only reserved for a very few now. Now people are just trying to find scraps. It's like, where can I find it? And it's turning into this really interesting dynamic where we'll just try to cancel this guy to get Amazon Music plays, or we'll smash we'll cut off Pete Davidson's head in claymation style, and that will sell albums and stuff. So like they're finding NFTs and different ways of playing it. So like, yeah, I find it really interesting where people are sort of trying to find a way to make money, or live or exist off of this very difficult profession to go into.
Got musicians into a corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
Musicians are
you don't
scrappy.
really get to know what their capabilities are. I think honestly, that's the part of musicians that we haven't really seen a whole lot of is a unity within the music genre itself, and that's something I think within reggae is kind of unique from what I've seen. It's not a big enough genre for the evil corporation names to be like, oh, let's take this and turn it into our little ploy.
Right.
I don't think they care yet. Or if they do, the people that actually are at the top of the genre aren't really allowing it, you know?
Right.
Like, yeah, whatever. But you'll notice when you go, festivals, and like you see the same kind of names and groups and whatnot. Like it's a really good environment. It hasn't been spoiled by that ugliness yet.
Yeah.
And it is kind of like it's an oasis away from all that other crap.
I agree. And I love how, like, I feel like the California roots scene was sort of the precipice for bringing this, even going back to like Sublime and No Doubt and sort of these mainstreams that sort of sparked a genre where, Southern California reggae sort of sparked a fire that's burning now, still burning and spreading, which is really awesome. Like even to the Southwest. My band's doing a festival out there. What the hell is that called? I don't even know what it's called. Jesus Christ, I'm terrible at my job sometimes. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. In Arizona is what I'm saying. Like Arizona, Texas. Like going out to these different Florida. Florida's killing it right now with all that. Are you guys based in Texas? Did I have that right?
So I live in San Antonio, well, right outside of San Antonio, and Nate is in North Carolina, and we're actually in North Carolina right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Right on. Okay. So, yeah, and even North Carolina, I mean, even the East Coast with, like a bunch of bands coming up. And it's very cool to see how this is all sort of spreading. And not to say that the California roots or Sublime was everything for American reggae, but it definitely brought it. I felt like they brought it to the mainstream, and people sort of been biting off of that for a long time. And especially when you go down into Southern California, where you get a lot of that. I don't know how you say it without being rude, but they most lovingly call it white boy reggae, right? So like even the bass player of Sublime came out and was like, all we got is a bunch of white boy reggae Sublime wannabes. And I think it's funny, and then sometimes that that whole vibe is sometimes sometimes the vibe can be weird, and I'm not gonna shit on anybody or any bands in particular. I love all my brothers and sisters from out west and stuff, but sometimes it gets a little meh. So I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Do you think that that's an accurate statement? That not white boy reggae, and not to shit on you guys at all, because obviously, look, I'm pretty Caucasian myself, and I'm out there doing the bubble. So it's I'm not shitting on it. I'm not trying to make it about race, even though I said white boy reggae. But there is sort of this genre that they're calling it that, and it's kind of a a denigration. But I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Do you think Sublime sort of started this whole American thing going on?
I mean, they were the revival of the scene in the SoCal. Like that was really what brought it into at least the mainstream. Like you said, Sublime was one of the big influences for a lot of people for reggae in America for their first time hearing it, if they hadn't already heard, the old school cats. And I was just saying the other day, we were talking about kind of our first influences, and I was lucky enough. I had my dad listened to a really huge collection of all sorts of different types of music, and he had a Steel Pulse CD in a box, and that was just something I put on my first reggae experience. But a lot of kids, it was Sublime,
right?
And then they graduated to Bob Marley and all the other old school stuff that makes reggae what it is, the roots. But today you have this really weird thing where people are trying to figure out where to take it to make it modern, but also you want to respect the roots where it comes from. And so for us, we've always really liked the old school kind of like Wailers just vibe, and the old school way that it's just kind of the foundation of the music. And then you have the new school stuff that's a lot more surfer rock. I don't know. What do you think, man?
So for me, I would say Sublime is definitely a great band, a great influence, and I feel very fortunate that we had that in our childhood because they're a true fusion band. And reggae is very much like jazz music, where it's a fusion type of music. Although we actually consider ourselves reggae inspired because we want to honor those that are doing traditional reggae, and we know that ours isn't anything even near traditional reggae. So we do pay honor to that, but we're a crossover band too, and we hope that that does help us to get further than maybe some of these others that want to just stay in this very traditional mindset of we want to sound like the Wailers or Steel Pulse, which more power to them because we love that stuff too, and that's part of what really got us into playing reggae, as well as the spirituality behind the movement. That's a big part of our music as well.
Go into that. What do you mean by spirituality of the music?
So, you know, the Rastafarian movement
Mhm.
is a spiritual movement, trying to find your connection with God and nature and you in between there, and trying to live the best life possible, putting the best food in your body, being the best person you can, living with high morals.
I think music as a medium too is something special that very few genres can do. As far as just what do I want to put out there with music, you know, and I think a lot of content that you'll find that's in the top 40s these days, it's not very uplifting content. It's, you know,
Wait,
kind of
you
a
mean WAP isn't uplifting? I thought that was elevating women. Come on, man. WAP, WAP,
It's
WAP, son.
elevating something.
Come on, bucket and a mop, bitch. Let's
yeah,
go.
I think WAP was like the number one hit for a while, man.
Yes.
I learned from the first time I heard that song was from one of my friend's teenage kids that was playing it on their phone, and then my friend was like, "Oh, this, you ever heard this?" And I had to check it out, and I was like, "Damn, this is what kids are pumping these days." I was like, "This is terrible, man."
It's
But
not
you
a
know,
yeah.
that's what's put out there. That's what's pushed. That's where the money's you know, influence is poured into. And so what do you expect? And so we decided a long time ago, like 10, 15 years ago, way before we ever got into Stone Tribe, that we wanted to write wholesome music that actually was cool, that makes like people want to jam out to it, but it also has a good message.
Yeah.
Something that is something that if you hear your kids singing along with it, you're not like, what the hell did you just say?
Did you just
Yeah.
did you just say wet ass pussy, son? Like what just happened here? Can I smell your wop? No, must be your feet then. No, okay, god damn it. How dare you?
But we
put
actually kind of have to thank Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion because they gave us more validity as the counterbalance to their point.
Yeah.
Eventually, that pendulum is going to swing back our way, and we're going to be ready.
Yes. Yes, no, I agree. Like everything sort of works in waves, right? And right now we're
Yes.
sort of in this. I don't know. I mean, it's sort of being curated as women empowerment. You know what I mean? And you know, if that no, you know, you know, it's true. You know, like if you are to criticize Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion for anything that they put out, then you know you are criticizing women as a whole, and you are against. You know, you're against women, and you know, like I mean, you know how it gets out of control.
Sure.
So it's really interesting that this is sort of being touted as, you know, empowering women. And then when you look at other countries like China, for example, where they don't really have this sort of imagery, where they where their TikToks aren't just like softcore porn and you know like you know food or cooking whatever you watch on TikTok. It's all full of like engineering facts and like history facts and they don't really show all that stuff. I mean, now that's one extreme to the other. Is there a balance where if we are sort of, I mean, in my mind, there's never a way, it's never okay to sort of like censor someone in that way. Like, so like, wet ass pussies, like, go on, baby, do your bad thing. Whether you like the song or not, I support the idea of expressing yourself freely. Whereas you got in other countries where if you express yourself freely, you can end up disappeared. So like, I would rather have that than the other. But what is that doing to our culture? And what is it doing to the people it's being directed towards? I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, what do you guys think?
That's heavy.
That's a deep one. Yeah. I mean, censorship is in itself, like, I think it's just, it's an inhumane thing to do. It's saying what you have to share is beneath, the public's, nobody should have to have that kind of experience listening to what you have to say. And it's just like it rules out any opinions or anything out there. So censorship, terrible thing. But what the influence is on the mainstream media, what they push, what's on the radio, what's on programming, who they choose to put on the Grammys singing, all these things, it's a push, it's a money driven thing, and I just don't think their goals or morals are aligned on any case to make society better. I think they just want to make more money at the cost of anything, and I think that's the unfortunate part, is money, and obviously being kind of the root of all evil. It shouldn't be the number one driving factor of our entertainment.
Yeah,
I think you got to especially allow kids to have access to something that's a little bit more neutral at best. That's not neutral. That's pretty crazy, right? That's like what you hear on the radio everywhere. Number one hit is like that song for a while. That's nuts.
Yeah, and you're raising a young woman in this world, and they're exposed to that right away, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's just normal." Talking about a wet ass pussy, And again, the censorship thing. We're not about censorship, but we are about morality, and we are about trying to raise the level of consciousness on this planet. I think that there's a better way to do it than flaunting that. However, to each their own, and we're not here to judge, because everybody's given free will, and we have to respect theirs, and we want people to respect ours. So there's a balance got to find in there.
yeah,
But that's not the path we choose.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, and in a way, I feel like music has always done that. It's always pushed boundaries. I mean, rock and roll. They were talking about some heavy. They were talking about some shit, man. Some heavy petting back in the 50s. And they just dressed it up, right? They were just dressing it up as something else. But parents of that time was just as up in an uproar, if not more, in this really weird, puritanical, moralistic, post World War II type situation, where you're making this where popular music is transferring from jazz into into rock and roll and stuff. So even rock and roll was looked at like this, and all throughout the the decades following, it's always been, they're pushing it. You can't talk about drugs. You can't talk about this. You can't talk about that. NWA was touted. They pulled them up in front of Congress. Ice-T. It's always been these folks sort of pushing boundaries, pushing the limit, finding where the line is, and crossing it. And in some ways, I don't know if it was a detriment, but in a lot of ways, it did move us forward in progress and in freedom of expression. It's just that it comes out in different ways for every generation, and so maybe just WAP is the next generation of the next iteration of pushing the boundaries and getting
It's not artful as Hendrix burning a guitar on stage, but it's close. It's close.
Oh shit! We just get stereotyped. Why I don't like Cardi B? Oh yeah. I understand. Yeah, the Latinos and the Puerto Rican folks like Cartagena. Stereotypes are there because they came from somewhere. But to stereotype an entire demographic and ignoring the exceptions is no bueno. All people are not like all people, or something like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's. They do. Stereotypes do come from somewhere. But I don't know, like we were kind of touching on, it's like what's being elevated, what's being sort of pushed to the top, and who's doing that, and for what reason? Why is this? Why is it? Is it really a natural occurrence that all these people are just loving wet ass pussy all at the same time, or is it millions of dollars of marketing and a whole team of people and lawyers and producers and videographers and a whole team of people who are creating this push? Yeah. So who is it? Why? Why would they do that?
Cardi B, the artist, power to her for, I mean, as ridiculous of success as that is. I mean, wow, that's crazy to come from, I mean, where she was just 5, or I guess probably more than 5 years ago now, but to the level of an extent of a growth of an artist, huge.
Yeah.
So I know that takes a ridiculous amount of work. It's not my particular forte in music, but I know that it's got a place in music. Everybody does.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful about it. But I'm just looking at, where is the push? What is the mainstream push? What are your kids going to hear? Or what's everybody going to hear? You know, what are we actually putting just in the public space nonstop? And it's just interesting that that's one of a long line of songs with just different content that isn't necessarily pushing in the right direction.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just an opinion.
But while we're on this subject, I wanted to talk about this song that we just wrote. It's called Wet Ass Penis, and it's going to be available really soon. Was I not supposed to release that information yet?
Yeah, we're still checking to see if that's been copyrighted.
Well, that didn't work out. There you go. That's there you go. That's what happens. That's what happens.
Can I say penis on your show? I should have asked you before that.
No, but you can only say, you could say wet ass pussy, but if you say wet ass pee, that's you know, that's anti-feminist, that's anti-woman. So we're not doing that. Weird ass penis. There you go. Weird ass penis. It's
That's
all
probably better.
It's all bent and veiny.
Can we use that?
Yeah, pizza can.
Everyone just pictured an S for some reason.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's like this weird ass penis. It's veiny. It's like the head's flat. You know, it's not round. It's not a dome. It's like a squared off situation. It's
Well, now we're not being very false.
hey, friends, came
We're
into.
We're actually talking about anatomy right now.
Robbie, welcome in, buddy. Robbie just walked into this conversation, so he's just like, "Hey, what's going on? We're talking about weird ass penises." That's right, Robbie. You know, it's like a duck corkscrew.
We're not afraid to get weird around here.
Not at all. Not at all. Now, you guys talk a lot about. I mean, listening to your music, you guys, I mean, there's lots of message there. And, I mean, I hear things like misinformation kind of stuff, talking about power structures, hallucination and stuff like that. Like, you know, there is a tradition of, you know, revolution. There's a tradition of speaking to power in reggae music. How have you guys sort of taken that on as your own, and what, you know, like, what are you trying to put out there? And I know you said spirituality and uplifting music, but if you could go a little deeper for us, and especially when you're talking about, you know, speaking to power, and and we could talk about hallucinogens later, but like, especially when you're talking about speaking to power.
Well, I think that our message is very simple. It's just about unification. We want to build our community, because when you break down that word, community is community. So when you work within your community, these great things are going to come together. And so it's that simple. Nate?
Yeah, really. It's that simple. Would you like to elaborate?
I am a man of few words by choice. And
No
Nate
way.
will probably fill you in later if you want.
It's like I should add nothing to that because it's that simple.
Well, I know there's a song where you guys are talking about taking caps and stuff, and stems. What is your guys' experience with hallucinogens? Then let's just go right there.
Well, we do think that things that are put on the planet, specifically within nature, that have been experimented with for thousands of years, proven through science, is a use of humanity's development consciously. Could be something worth experimenting with for some people. Not all. I don't encourage people to do it, but at the same point in time, I'm not afraid to talk about some of my prior experiences and how it's kind of opened up my development of thinking in other ways, and opened up just my ability to see myself as a small part of a larger working engine, and how humanity is just so fragile, and at the same point it's just so beautifully interconnected. And once you like realize that, through whatever experience you need to realize that, whether it's that or something else, there's a million different ways to experience that. That's one way that I did it, and one way that I've written about it. It's just once you do that, you don't want to see wars anymore. You don't want to see starvation. You don't want to see anything other than just like love and support and people just like putting your heart out there for each other. So that's kind of like the base of who I am and what comes out in my music most of the time.
Yeah. That was beautifully said, I gotta say. That was really nice.
It's really just that simple. Damn.
All right, here's my take on it. I like it, but I'd never do it. And you can quote me on that.
I like it, but I never do it. I learned about myself on mushrooms, but ever since I
I forgot.
yeah, allegedly. I have kids and I don't want to anymore. I feel that. You know, like there's certain responsibility that comes with children. Do you guys have kids? Either of you guys?
Yeah, I have a son. He's 11.
I have cats.
Oh, you got an 11-year-old boy. Oh, I remember when I was 11, I was dropping acid. Could you imagine your son dropping acid at 11 years old?
No, and Zachariah, I love you very much, and you better not be doing that.
Do not drop, Zachariah. Don't do drugs. Drugs are bad. No, see that whole idea of drugs are bad thing. You know, like you kind of touched on it. You know, a little bit when you're talking there, where it was like, you know, it helps you sort of get in touch with a lighter side of yourself, and the idea of just putting all these drugs into one blanket statement. You know, like just say no or drugs are bad or whatever. I mean, is there in your guys' head a difference between drugs, or do you categorize them all in the same as just like, you know, we're going over here, that's just drugs? I don't know. I have my own opinions, but I'd love to hear yours.
Well, I would say if you can use these drugs or natural plants as medicine towards your healing pathway, then I think they're okay. Becoming reliant on any of these things is very dangerous, and I personally feel it disconnects you with the source of all energy, you know, with the creator.
Yeah.
So that's my perception.
Yeah.
I think it's really for me personally, and my thoughts on it have changed over the years. So, you know, this is where I'm at now. So any friends watching this that are like, wait a minute, I was a different person back then. But now I definitely am just more in tune with like what's natural. So if it's growing on the earth, I'm not as afraid of it. If it's man-made in a bathtub, I ain't touching it. And so I think that's a pretty fair judge of rule of thumb.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. I definitely like, so there is a difference for you both, where it's like there is different categories where one is sort of a healing side to it, and others, like you're saying, is sort of will disconnect you. Like for me, it was alcohol and, well, heroin, but more alcohol than it was the other. And alcohol was one of those things that just it was the direct opposite of anything that was helping me or healing or anything. Like marijuana for me is still a very useful tool or medicine or medication, like anything else. Like someone taking, you know, Valium or Celexa. It's like, for me, marijuana can do that, and it helps in that aspect. And so I still find it to be a useful thing. But anything that's not so useful or not you know, an ally in my life, I'm very much, let's get that shit out of here. Was there any time in your guys' life where you guys were involved with the other side, the bad side of drugs?
Yeah, no, I've definitely I've experimented and then took experiments, you know, into habits, and yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot of things I could have done better in that realm, but thank God I'm still here. And there's a lot of people that don't make it out of that, and that's one of the worst things that I'm watching in our own country right now, is just that downfall from everything that's going on in the last couple of years, and how drugs have been really taking a lot of good lives. And I'm just so happy that didn't happen to me, and that I can still be here and help people that are struggling with that. So for what it's worth, if you are somebody out there that's struggling with it, reach out, and StoneTribe will literally respond back to you and be there for you anytime that you need it. Because I know people that do struggle with that just sometimes need to communicate with somebody who wants to listen, and we'll listen and we'll play you a song.
That's right. That's on the real. And to further that point, I actually just lost a friend and went to a funeral on Sunday.
Ugh.
And he had bad addiction for a long time, and he was sick.
Yeah.
These aren't things that I feel that people should go to jail for. Being addicted to drugs, because they're not going to get the proper help in there. They're going to become addicted to whatever that legal dope is. I don't even know what's called.
Fentanyl.
Methadone. Something else. Yeah. Well, there's that too.
Yeah.
If you need someone to talk to, we want to keep people away from those bad man-made drugs. We can't support that at all.
Yeah.
And we want you to find your pathway to healing. We think that blocks your path.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at these last 2 years and just the idea of, overdoses and how many people, over this pandemic have lost their life to fentanyl overdoses and on top of that, suicides, mental health issues and stuff. Like it's all connected, right? Like mental health and addiction and behavior, it's all sort of connected. And I don't know, what does mental health mean to you guys?
Now it's about giving yourself time to decompress more. And life is just sped up, more and more and more. And I think it's like that for everybody. Like it just feels like with all the different, toys we have, gadgets and gadgets, and just how much is expected of every person in today's world, that you just don't have time. You feel like anyway, you don't have time to just give yourself some downtime, some time to decompress and meditate or listen to some relaxing music or just be in the quiet of somebody who you enjoy their company. But that's like, that's why we wrote literally the song. And this wasn't like it wasn't meant to be an interjection, but like the song that released today is literally about this. It's about me, myself, and I this year making that commitment to myself. And so that's part of why I moved. Actually just getting out of the area that I was in that was just so hectic and hard for me to relax and actually take care of myself. And so I had to make some big life changes, but a lot of that was just giving myself more time. So like that was a big one for me.
Yeah, and I think Nate and I got into music for similar reasons. We both lost people very close to us in our immediate family at young ages, and it completely changed our perception of reality and put us on this path that we wouldn't be on right now, probably, if not for those things. My little sister passed away. Nate's father passed away.
Oh, man.
And because of that, we're really trying to find out, with the trauma that we dealt with, how can we help others? Because we've been able to find ways to better our own lives through gratitude practices, meditation, prayer, spirituality, connection with nature, connection with your fellow mankind. And I don't think that everyone realizes this. It's just such a simple thing. And I'm not some brilliant guy, but we are absolutely all connected. We're all here for each other, to help each other. So I truly hope and pray that everybody realizes that.
Simple.
Yeah, no, that you were saying something about like, supporting people and maybe jail's not the right answer for that. What do you think is the right answer for when you're dealing with, addiction and, mental health and all that?
Yeah, that's a tough one, but throwing the book at them and just throwing them away, lock and key is not going to help them. And that's the one thing that I do know. So I do know that there's good natural ways, places, safe places for people to go where they have counselors that have gone through these, addictive things. And it's always going to be there. It's going to be a personal choice. But if they can get off these drugs without the withdrawals killing them, then there's a chance. And big shout out to Kyle Smith. Love you, Kyle Smith. We're glad you're here with us, rocking. And your story is extremely inspirational.
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Who's Kyle Smith? I'm sorry, I don't.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Kyle Smith is our Cali reggae buddy that's just killing it on the scene. He's touring with everybody. He's the man. He just did a Sugar Shack sessions, and it's killer.
It's got a powerful story that he kind of emerged from just really fast too. Just his turnaround personally, his story that he shared on his social media. I don't want to share it for him, so go check him out.
Yep.
At Kyle Smith, I think it's.
Yep. Kyle Smith.
Yeah, it's just really powerful story. Really cool how he turned his life around real fast, and now he's just got like this awesome new scene going on, and he's just making waves. Really cool to see.
It is.
Yeah.
Very inspiring.
I've never heard of Kyle. Wait, is Kyle from? Was he in a different band?
I don't recall. I think he's just been.
Oh no, never mind.
He's a solo acoustic guy that started a band because
still does like acoustic sets, even does the full band sets at certain shows and stuff. So
yeah, and his fans are the coolest fans. I mean, they are so into what he's doing. And Kyle, what you're doing is great, brother. Just keep going and keep supporting those that need the help the most, which are the people addicted to heavy drugs, you know.
Yeah, I love it when musicians go out of their way to talk about these kind of things, because I feel like that it's or anybody of influence is talking about what they've gone through, because it's super important that people know that musicians are just people too, and that they're not some god that's above anything or above mistakes or reproach. It's like it's beautiful, and then to be able to see them succeed and grow, that's important. That's really important. And that's, I mean, I talk about my addiction openly, which I've been doing for years, but whatever. Now it's like second nature. But, you know, like at first it's kind of a weird thing to talk about, but I do think that, you know, as my influence grows and as this show grows, is that it is important that I'm honest about how I feel about these situations, and I'm honest about who I am. And I think that goes a long way, especially when you're building a community, because they get to see what it is that you stand for, and you get to really know someone. I can't stand, like, some musicians will come on here and they'll be very guarded, which is okay. I'm not judging, but I shouldn't say I can't stand it, but it is, to me, I feel like it's an artist's duty. I always play the Nina Simone thing, where it's an artist's duty to talk about yourself and to talk about what's going on around you. In my opinion, you know, like, of course, you party if you want to talk about wet ass pussies and shit, cool. But for me, being an artist, I feel like it's important to sort of express myself honestly in what what I'm doing. I want to read this from Samo here. The reason why things are such a response and repeat is because there's money to be made. Fixing the problem doesn't continue the wheels of greed to keep smelling. Rehab is for the rich and famous. Ooh. Just think about a Jim Morrison or Jimi Hendrix without drugs. A straight edge hipster doesn't hold the magic or the allure. Now that's another interesting point, is where the actual system that you are a part of sort of promotes or even allows or facilitates drug use, or makes it, glamorizes it in some ways, you know, like with Jim Morrison, when you look at Jimi Hendrix's stuff, or, you know, these guys are all strung out all the time, the rock star life, right? The rock star lifestyle, drinking and partying and carousing and stuff. You know, some of the music industry is, almost promotes this. I mean, it's been very well known that the label will send a guy out there who will go and score for them just to keep the shows moving, keep it moving. Yeah. What Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd, it's sort of all about that. It's like just a little pinprick, Now you can go on and
yeah, you can't deny it. You're right on the point. There's like a creativity that I'm sure was influenced in the right sort of way for that song or for that artist. But man, wouldn't you love if those artists lived longer? See like Jim Morrison do another 4 albums with the Doors, or see, whatever. There's so many artists that their lives got cut short. Hendrix, just because they took it too far. And so, yeah, with that comes the sacrifice of what could have been, right? Like Pink Floyd's a great example because they're still around, and I love some of the stuff that they've put out after 32 years old, and a lot of the other artists passed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother side. I mean, like just the idea. I mean, like when we're talking about, mushrooms and stuff, and they can be inspiring as well. Like I don't know if you guys have ever been in like a jam when you're high on psychedelics, but you can
Never.
never.
Not do that, and I do not recommend it.
I don't recommend it to anybody who hasn't had experience with the drug itself or with hallucinogens. And if you're going to do it with a safe group of people. Do it with people that you're comfortable with. Maybe do it with people who are experienced in it as well. If you are going to do something like hallucinogens, not endorsing that, but think about what you do before you do it. That's a good way of going about things. But yeah, these drugs can be inspiring. Look at the Bird, Charlie Parker. Like he believed that heroin made him play better, and did it? I don't know. I don't know if heroin made. He certainly was better as. Oh, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
That's a good tolerance there.
Well, it's I mean, I feel like he would have been better if he didn't die of heroin or alcoholism. Like, I feel like it would have been cooler if he was still going and was able to make more music. But like, are these drugs facilitating creativity, or are we facilitating the creativity, or is it a combination of both? It's like, I don't know, but I know I've had some beautiful experiences making music while being high, really high on drugs. The intro to this song, the intro music for this podcast was done while I was tripping dick. And I was just like, I had like the whole song came to me in an instant, and I was able to it was the first time I was really able to take an idea and put it out into the real world as I heard it in my head for the most part, which, so, I mean, it was like one of those really interesting.
Makes sense now.
But was it?
I was wondering when I heard it. I'm like, I wonder if he was.
No. But I mean, for whatever it's worth, I'm not saying that song's some sort of masterpiece in any way, but I am saying that for me, that was something really cool that happened while I was really high on drugs, and it turned out to be the intro to this podcast. So there is inspiration there, but then there's also the dark side, and when you go too far.
It's a hard thing to comment on because, like, obviously there's no reason to unnecessarily influence anybody, but I've gone through my own experiences, and I feel like I'm a better person for going through my own experiences. But I again, like, found a way to not take it too far, and thankfully the friend group I was with, supports you with that. That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Just make sure you got good friends around you. They're looking out for your best interests, and they won't let you go too far, hopefully.
Hopefully. Or sometimes they encourage the
I had those friends too. That's why I threw the hopefully.
Yeah, no, right. That's why you had to like sort of separate yourself. Same here, man.
You know who they are.
You know who you are, you sons of bitches. You got kids listening to Little Peep, Lil Uzi Vert, Little Pump. So therefore, it perpetuates the stereotype of Jim Morrison's and Jimi Hendrix of this generation dressing rap music alone. But then again, if Jimi Hendrix and Morrison would have lived, would you think they would have went to Kiss, the Kiss route, like Gene Simmons' marketing ploys? Lick the toad. What would have happened if they would have kept going? And I totally agree. There is this drug movement in, this sort of emo drug rap movement that's really capturing the youth, where they're talking about lean this, which has always been a part of the hip hop community, is talking about drugs and stuff, but like they've really focused in on emotions and drug use and also like the Satan imagery, which has always been a part of rock and roll and stuff. But I find it interesting that it's sort of being co-opted now into the hip hop world of satanic imagery and the heavy use of drugs and stuff like that.
Rapping about bath salts and shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, so
it's pretty dark stuff.
Yeah, it is dark. I mean, yeah, and Dan, you're saying your spirituality, your connection with God is do you have sort of a traditional Christianity connection to it, or is it something that you sort of it's beyond that? And then and then if it is a Christianity thing, do you how do you see the satanic imagery that's going on right now?
Yeah, well, so I was raised in a Christian family, and I
Mm,
have very many like Christian and Rastafarian
mm,
faith-based ideas. But I personally consider myself just a spiritual person that's trying to connect with the creator, the source. And that source to me is based on love, unconditional love, what Christians refer to as the word, the Messiah. I mean, there's many ways to say it, but I personally don't choose to put myself into the category of an organized religion just because I feel that the church has done some dark stuff. Even down to that thing you're talking about, that satanic stuff. And, I really don't want to get too far into it because I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. That's not my aim at all. And I know that my knowledge is very limited. But what I do know is that I want to be the best person that I can, and I want to use all of my energy to put that forth into the world.
mm, mm.
Mm.
So
Probably more.
you don't want to offend the Satanists?
Oh, fuck them. No, of course. I don't want to offend anybody. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know,
just by just by talking about some of the stuff that you guys do talk about, I mean, could be
yeah.
taken offensive, like I mean, some
Sure.
so I mean, it's really hard to just sit there and be like, I don't want to offend anybody, but I mean, no matter what we do,
I do. I do. Yeah.
we offend
I
people
can't help that.
constantly, and it's just how it is, I suppose.
I like the conversation part of like humanity, and I don't think there should ever be a problem with having healthy dialogue
Mm,
if there's differences. When you get into like religions and moral values and family values, obviously it's a tight rope to walk, and nobody wants anyone to feel isolated or like like your opinion's less valuable than my opinion. So that's where we're coming from.
yeah, of
But at
course.
the same point in time, it's like, yeah, we're going to hold true to our values and we're going to put it out there in the world. And if you choose to tune in, awesome. We're going to lift you up with us. And we're not going to, we're not trying to come down on anybody on anything. We're just trying to lift you up with us and hope you ride the wave that we're riding. It's a lot cooler than your wave.
Hey!
We'll just basically say that there's this age-old battle. The age-old battle between light and darkness, and here we
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
Choose your side.
Yeah. No, for
You
real.
have to.
No, I feel that, and as I get older, I feel that even more and more. Like I feel like there is sort of this light and dark battle that's being fought, and whether it's Satan and God or I don't know. I'm not a religious scholar or anything, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's that's the force or the what's the force in the dark side, right? Like so. There's all kinds of different ways to put it, but yeah, there's always this eternal struggle for good and evil. And so what is it? Are we good? Are we fundamentally good? I mean, since this is all coming from man, is it that we are good and we have evil in us or whatever you want to call it, darkness in us, or are we mostly dark and we're trying to embrace the light? I don't know. What do you guys think? What are humans just fundamentally dark?
Yeah, just it all boiled down to love for me. It's just like love is like, for lack of explaining it any other way, it's just it's how every human wants to be treated. At your core, like that's how every single human being wants to be treated. Nobody wants to be beat, criticized, or everybody wants to just be loved. So what does that mean? It does mean acceptance. It does mean the ability to feel embraced, and it does mean that you're interconnected with somebody and unconditionally accepted. And really, there's the light and the dark side on that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they'll take you just like this side will take you. But I think if anything means anything, love is just, that's the only way to go. You just got to have it in your heart every day, and what you bring out to the world. If you're just trying to just be the best person you can be and aim for something that means something, then you just got to show love.
Yep. Amen, brother.
Amen, brother. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. It's like, and you know, this whole darkness and Satanist sort of movement that's going on. Like I'm thinking of what was that? What was the dude in Texas, Astro World? Was it Travis Scott?
Yeah.
There was a lot of, you know, people were, when you hear people talking about it, they even say there was a darkness, you know, and that's imagery. You know, imagery can shape a lot of, you know, feeling. Obviously, that's why the church is so popular. Well, I don't know how popular it is these days, but that's why the church was so popular. On one aspect is that you're gathering in a group of people. It's a community with this guy in all these robes, and there's incense, and the lighting's right, and the sound is perfectly tuned and has a great reverb that spreads throughout the entire church and community. And it's a show, it's a performance, and in some way, and they're selling, you know, hope and understanding of the universe. So it's a, you know, it's theater. It's theater in my opinion in a lot of cases. And so is, you know, with Travis Scott with this Satanist thing, is it just theater, or is this something that he truly embraces? Because according to the crowd, it was something palpable. It was something they could feel, and everything went wrong at the end of the show where people are getting crushed to death, and people are being ignored as their screams went unheard. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess you guys touched on it. It's like, what do you embrace?
Yeah, I think now more than ever, it might be becoming more real than shock factor, because we grew up in the era of, you know, the Marilyn Manson shock factor music, where that's just how you got into the headlines. And, you know, whether you believe or not that he was doing crazy rituals or Ozzy was biting the heads off of bats.
Right.
I don't know, probably not, but that was shock factor stuff. But right now you got Kanye doing choir tours, and you got Lil Nas X selling shoes that are marked as Satan shoes with human blood in it. I mean, they've taken it to a whole other factor that it's more real. It's more actual tangible now. If you go to a Kanye show, you're going to be in a church environment, in that environment that he was doing. Maybe that's your first experience in that environment. That's pretty real for some people.
Absolutely.
You bought your first human blood shoes. Maybe that was your first pair of human blood shoes, and that was a real experience to have a human ritualistic shoe that you could wear. And so, you know, it's more tangible. It's definitely more in your face. I think it is making people have to think about it more. And maybe that's part of the great awakening that we're all feeling, is people are having to think about it more for the first time, instead of just being shocked and oohed and awed by it. It's actually like real questions. Should I buy some human blood shoes? Shit, I don't know, man. It's not even money anymore. I got credit cards like everybody else. Should I put shit on now? Is that going to tarnish my reputation with God? I really like the shoes.
These are really fashionable. Yeah, no, it is a weird time. It is a weird place, and you know, a lot of this I feel like has been accentuated by the pandemic, you know, and people with isolation, and you know, we were talking about mental health, the escalation of mental health, and you know, everything's sort of coming unhinged, it seems, you know, and you know, art does seem to reflect the world, and it does seem like there's a certain amount of darkness that's sort of taken over and captured humanity at this point. I mean, we're sitting here on the precipice of World War III, and you know, we've got shoes with human blood in it. You know, like, I don't know. It's just a strange time to be alive. But it's also an exciting time to be alive, and with this darkness comes the opportunity to show light and shine light on it. And so, why not? I love that you guys are that. You know, that's what you guys are embracing, and that's what you guys are coming, you know, promoting. And you know, again, Island Time is available currently. If you guys want to go check that shit out, let's listen to a little bit of it. Do you mind if I play just a little bit of it?
By all means.
Oh, I canceled us. My bad. Okay.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Expecting that anyways.
We're done.
Not enough human blood. Canceled.
All right, let's listen to this preview of Island Time, which is available today, featuring Ian Young. And now, did Ian produce this song, or is he just featuring?
So he remixed and produced the remix on that. So the single's a 2-track single. It's an A and B track.
Oh,
The
okay.
original one's just our version, and then we had Ian Young do a whole remix reproduction of it. It's like a dub mix. It's really cool.
Oh, sweet. Is that video online? Is that on your YouTube where there's like, or is that a different song? Because I saw a video where you guys there's like a live dub system. It's just the mixer.
Yeah, that's just a little preview for the song.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
good.
we're not done with the music video yet. We're really close.
Okay.
We have an Island Time music video that we're way close.
Sorry, I just started playing over your talking. Please, what did you say?
Oh no, we were just saying there's this music video for this that we thought we were gonna take a little longer on, but we're actually really close now to releasing it, probably in the next few weeks to a month or so.
Nice. Nice. We'll talk about that. Let's listen to a little bit of Island Time, and we're gonna jam out, guys. We're gonna jam out, guys. Hold on. All right, there we go. I think that's a great example of you guys, because you can hear so many different influences and on what you guys are doing. Like, I mean, I hear almost like 60s in it, you know. It's obviously reggae, obviously there's some psychedelic notions to it, and back here, awesome guitar, yeah. Yeah, no, so I mean, like, you were talking about a little bit earlier with that the song is sort of about mental health, and you kind of Nate, you kind of coming to terms with your mental health. I vibe with this. Good, Robbie. I'm glad. Everybody. Oh shit. Hold on. Let me put the link in the show notes here, guys. Or show notes. God damn it. The chat. Show notes are on podcast, which this will be a podcast as well, which I think we are doing. Okay, I'm just gonna drop there's the link, everybody. Go click on the fucking link and follow these guys up. Make sure you guys are staying up to date with them, because they are they're killing it right now. So you were talking about it as sort of coming to terms with mental health and stuff like that. What is it? What was it that you were sort of coming to terms with? Like, what are you sort of getting past, if you don't mind talking about it?
Really, just for me personally, it was being in the rat race, so to speak, being so consumed with my job at the time and life's demands that were not important or priority at all towards my longevity, my happiness, my spirituality, my growth with like the people that, you know, my relationships, just stuff taking me away from what mattered and what was important, until I just literally forgot, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I just felt really like trapped, and it wasn't the pandemic or anything. It was just everything in life that I let get to that level, overwhelming. And so when we wrote Island Time, we were just in that moment of like transition. We were talking about it a lot, like making changes in our lives to allow more time to do the project and to really just kick it in another gear. And so that song came out because it was just like, we're gonna like force ourselves to like go on to Island Time for a while. And if anyone's ever taken a trip to an island, or really anywhere that's like old-fashioned community, things move slower pace.
Yeah.
And if you're from the city and you go there, it's like a really shock. It's like the pace of life is kind of like, it takes some adjusting because it's so slow. Service is slow. People move slower. The traffic is slower. Everything's like, come on. And sooner or later, you ease into that pace yourself, just, you know, assimilating into the vibe and the pace of life. And it's like, it's a mental thing almost. It's like, hey, if you allow yourself time to not be in a rush, if you allow yourself time to be in the moment more and not try to like please everybody else, try to please what matters, yourself, your creator, your independent relationships with those who matter most. That's what matters. That's what we're here to do. and then your community from there. And then, yeah, I mean, do what you got to do, pay your bills and all that stuff. Don't let it consume you.
Yeah.
And that's what this song is all about, is like, hey, man, take a chapter out for yourself. Don't forget.
Yeah.
And that's where we were and where we kind of transitioned from and where we're going still.
That was great description, and yeah, that's awesome. It's like sort of taking time. What's up, Dex? What's up, baby? Yeah, the taking time for yourself, and like supporting yourself and lifting yourself up. One thing that I always bring up here is like when you better yourself, you're gonna better the people around you, because I always use this example, so sorry guys, but for you guys hearing me saying this 1,000 times, but like I used to be like 300 and some pounds in high school. And to be able to get past that and, you know, start with a healthy lifestyle and turn my whole eating habits and stuff around, you know, like when I lost all the weight, I had so many people hit me up online or in my life who were like, dude, I saw you lose the weight, and I was like, man, I just thought you were gonna be a fat ass forever, and then you inspired me to go and do it for myself. And several people. So it's always cool to see that when people sort of take on their own individual, you know, problems. They take on their own, they take responsibility for their decisions, and in turn that sort of lifts up the people around them, and you're lifting up your community. And because if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't love yourself, if you can't make time for yourself, you're never going to have time to help your community, or to help the people around you, or help the people that you know that you love, and lift them up. And so I think that's a great thing. Island time, yeah, that's beautiful, man. Get that island time. I mean, you fucking Hawaii, you're going 50 everywhere, like, you know, and then 20 in the cities, or so it's like I feel that. I love that feeling. That's why I love living in OB in San Diego, because it kind of captured, you know, that beach town mentality. There is something about a beach town where you're near the ocean, where everybody's sort of taking time for themselves, and, or, you know, basking in the sunlight, the ocean, and everybody just moves kind of slower. It was just, it's a dope thing to sort of see. It's really interesting to see that as well. The city could be a hustling, bustling city, but there's this little beach town in the middle of it. Everybody's just chilling. No one's going fast. Everybody's just hanging out. We love your "I'm hot now" stories. All right, settle down, Cartagena. Moving Dutchman, I'm very sorry. I don't have Baby Yoda, and so I don't think we can do Baby Yoda unless Baby Yoda can find Baby Yoda and bring Baby Yoda in here. But other than that, we might have to save that for next time, my friend. So I will redeem it. I'll keep it up there. I'll keep your points. I'll hold them. And if anybody doesn't know who's here, you guys have questions for the band, feel free to use a fresh bar or our channel points, and you can ask questions of the band directly. Yeah, how'd you guys link up with Ian?
Yeah, so he was just someone that we always followed, and we were looking to get a good remix, and we'd heard some of his stuff, and we just reached out to him, and he hit us back, and the rest is history.
There it is. Yeah, I mean, Ian is that guy, right? Like, you could just sort of like, hey man, I need this and that. It's like, okay, cool. Here's my rate. There you go.
yeah. I mean, he heard the track. He'd already heard the track before I reached out to him, and he dug the track. So I think it was kind of an easy way to, get him involved. And we feel very fortunate. Thank you so much, Ian. Your mix is so incredible. That bass, man, the bass hits hard.
Dude.
And yeah, Ian's ear is just phenomenal. I know
he
works with Iatera amongst many other people.
Yeah, he kills it. No, I agree with you completely. And the way his workflow is incredible too. Like, to see him work and stuff is wild. So like, yeah, he's quick, and it's not like quick and like I'm just, here it is, take it, whatever. It's like a very well thought out piece, and
he's efficient.
Yes, but he's just efficient. He knows his gear, he knows his studio, and I respect that so much about musicians and especially producers and mixers.
It's just so good to have fresh ears on stuff these days too. Like, the more and more that we graduate into the next chapter of our own personal writing capabilities and stuff, just to get some other fresh ears on our music is really, really something we value a lot lately. And so we're getting more and more artists to collab with us and more ears to do mixing and mastering and remixes and stuff like that. It's just so valuable, you know. We just get this cool, like, get their vibe on it, their take on it, and then it's some cases it's a whole other animal, you know, than what we did. They take it to this whole other level that you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, and actually Danny Cow mastered our original version of Island Time. And if y'all don't know Danny Cow, he works with The Green, he's worked with Beck, Willie Nelson, Hyrie, amongst many others, the Elevators of Good Nature. I mean, the list goes on with this guy. He's just a legend.
Yeah, that guy's got an ear of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that he's done in the past is like, when you started mentioning, you know, like Hyrie and stuff, it clicked in for me. But yeah, no doubt, no doubt. That's really awesome. You guys got him on this track to mix and stuff. That's dope, man. I love that shit. You guys, do you guys do your own production and mixing and stuff as well?
Yeah, we do most of the production mixing. We're trying to hand out some of the mixing for the same reasons we just mentioned, just to get some ears on it. Kind of gives it a different perspective, but a lot of it's done in-house.
That's dope. Yeah. So, and you know, you guys got really great video content up. Are you guys involved in that at all?
Yeah, this dude.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the people, actually all the people that have done film work or photography for us are professionals in the film industry. So yeah, we have a really great pool of resources. I actually work in film and TV.
Oh, sweet.
And so I know a lot of really incredible people that are just nice enough to realize that we're broke, and you know, we'll mow your lawn every day if you need us to, or buy beers after.
Yeah.
Trade is invaluable.
Yes, I agree. Barter, trade and barter is amazing. Yeah, I really dig when artists take it on themselves to sort of, and of course it can get a little overwhelming, and that's why it's, you know, like, I think that's great that you're saying it's like, hey, we're also gonna farm some of this out because, you know, we want new ears, but also it's nice to sort of let other people handle things. Did you say that? I don't know if you said that. Maybe you did. But
I wish I said that. I didn't say that. I feel like I should.
Okay, well, that's in my opinion that helps, because I do mix and master my own stuff too. But like the last track I released, I was like, fuck this. I have way too much to do. I'm gonna hand this off to someone I really trust, and it came back just how I wanted it. So it's like, you find your people, you find your crew, you know how, and being a good like business owner is knowing how to hand out jobs, tasks, and knowing who's right for what. And that's there's no shame in that game. But I also really love that people, when they take it upon themselves, you know, I know a lot of like hip hop artists who like they're their own filmographer, you know, they edit their own stuff, they mix and master, you know, they do their own graphics, they're doing all marketing, everything. And, you know, for those who can do it without sort of burning out, goddamn, I applaud the shit out of you. But, you know, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be a successful, you know, content creator, musician, rapper, especially. Jesus Christ, like to be. I know so many out of work rappers. I mean, like, it's scary.
It's a full-time job that usually pays nothing.
Right.
Unless you're actually at that point where you're making something. Again, it takes harder and harder work these days because of the platforms being what they are. People don't. Back when I first got into music, I remember how we made any money in the project I was doing was we hustled CDs at the mall. You know, we literally just grabbed like backpack and we burnt our own stinking CDs on our own computer, and we Sharpie them up, put them in those little colored thin cases, whatever the hell those were called, jewel cases. Yeah. You know, and it was like we'd go and hustle those for $5 at the mall, and that's how we made, you know, any money to put towards the band. That was like my first stuff that we did. You can't do that nowadays. You don't even know what a CD is. So.
Yeah, it's like no one's taking CDs right now.
You can't hustle a stream anywhere.
Yeah, yo, stream my thing. Pay me $1 and I'll play this song for you on my phone. The last time I was playing, I played Cal Roots Festival 2018, 17. There was a dude trying to sell his CD in the crowd. Like I'm just walking through the crowd and this dude's like, bro, and he like had it down to like he put the album in your hand, you know, like they'll just come up and be like, boom, put it in your hand. Exactly. Hand it to them so it's in their hand, so it's that much closer to a
Oh,
sale.
wait, there's more.
Yes, those tactics. And I gave him like $3 because I just loved the hustle. I was like, bro, I will jam your music. Here's $3. Now you got to leave because I'm really high on drugs right now. So you got to leave me alone. It was really great. And then we went and watched Revolution from the side of the stage, and it was like incredible. And this like plane flew over right at this like crazy dub part, and everybody just cheered, and it was just like a really beautiful evening. So it was like, you know, we're talking about drugs again, of course.
Right.
But I appreciate those people who are still hustling, even if it's sort of an antiquated hustle. Hey, you're out there, you're doing it, goddamn, you're doing something, you know, it's something. You guys mentioned meditation earlier. What is there like? Do you guys practice meditation? Is it something that you guys do a lot, or either of you, or is it something that you sort of come to once in a while? I mean, is it a practice for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I personally meditate multiple times a day.
Oh wow!
Like as soon as I wake up, that's the first thing I do.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, because the reason that I do that, and I encourage others to do it if they have trouble with meditation, because you're already rested, you're likely not going to fall back asleep unless you want to.
Yes.
So if you really focus on your breath and just focus on that and relaxation only, it's really easy to get a deep, relaxing experience. And you can go out into your day completely refreshed, energized, and, you know, help other people that don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. What sort of got you into meditating, and like how and what would you like, what sort of pushed you into it, and then how did you like, and then what was the benefits that you noticed?
Yeah, so I mean, just trying to deal with my own trauma going through life, trying to figure out how do I heal myself,
Yeah.
because I felt compelled to help other people from experiences that I've been through. So I've always been on a pathway of reading books about how do you heal yourself? How do you connect with other humans? Why did you come to this planet? I've always been drawn to the metaphysical section of the library, so I was that weird guy. I got the hair for it. But yeah, so meditation has just helped me to let go of anxiety that's created by a very busy society. Just going into traffic, you can see that we have a very sick society because everybody is so self-absorbed when they're in their car, especially. There's this extreme ego that comes out when you're behind the wheel. And when people get out of their car, then they're the nicest person in the world. But you got someone behind the wheel, all of a sudden they're a different person. So these are the kind of energies that we need to acknowledge if we want to change and become better. This is my perspective, at least.
Yeah, I like your sort of I don't know, is that, or your example of or the reflection of society is this clusterfuck of traffic and people just sort of they have these like 2-ton barriers between them and another human being, so they think they're unstoppable, and it sort of reflects how we act online, right? Like we feel like we can say whatever to whoever. It's like when we're driving, we could just say, "Hey, fuck you, buddy," and there's not gonna be any consequence. I'm in a fucking 2-ton fucking barrier, you know what I mean? Until that person is a psycho and like starts following you, you know, and then things can get weird real easy. I was thinking the same thing driving this morning. Crazy. I'm in your head, Cartagena. I'm in your fucking head, bro. But it's like it is something that is scary, that we have sort of this apathy towards each other in certain aspects of our day, you know. But like, you know, when I'm not in my car, or if I'm not online, you know, I'm a decent person who's just, you know, has opinions and has loved ones in their life. But once I get behind the wheel, once I drink too much, once I fucking, you know, I'm online and I'm fucking raging online and going on tangent, you're a different person, and it comes out, and it's part of that darkness that sort of comes out of us when we think we're somehow, insulated from repercussion.
Yeah, we tend to say things that we may not fully agree with because we haven't thought about them enough. We just tend to have this regurgitation of the mouth, and just stuff comes out. And a lot of times we don't think before we speak. But when we speak, we create this energy, and many people don't acknowledge that every single word that we put out is an energy. And then once you realize that, you probably will start to become more careful with the words that you use.
Yeah. What was this? That beautiful thing that meditation helps us getting in touch with is mindfulness, right? It's like mindfulness of your behavior, what you say, and what you do, trying to live. Yeah, it is weird, right? Well, Robbie is saying he rages more online than IRL. I mean, it is interesting. It happens, but it happens, like I'm the same way. It's like if I see someone say something, I've backed off that a lot just because I value my time more, because there's been days where I'll spend the first like 2.5 hours just be like, no, fuck you, oh, fuck you, oh, fuck you. It's just this, shit show and pissing contest that goes nowhere. No one's convinced otherwise. No one's changed any minds. Everybody's just becoming more emboldened in their weird thought process. So it's like, it's useless. It's fucking useless. And I'm fine. I can live without it. Social media, I'm trying to get a better relationship with it, and it's happened.
Yeah, we have an aversion to it as well. We are only on there specifically to reach people because we care about people, and we want to get our music into people's hands because we do feel like we can help them become a little more positive and focus on the positive instead of the negative, and build up based upon gratitude.
That's the only reason why.
That's it.
We're only.
Fuck social media. I do.
Yeah, I will say that I've had a weird. You're that guy. You're that guy. Not only do you look like Terrence McKenna, but you have a flip phone. I love it. That's amazing. So in your pursuit of cutting yourself off from too much stimulation, you've gotten a flip phone.
Yeah, now, like, if you get a hold of me, good job, because you had to do it. I'm not just available for everybody.
Hey, that's part of self-care, right?
Yeah, and I've got a home line. You can leave a message on there, and when I get home, 6 o'clock, I'll call you back.
Hey,
leave a message.
That's tight. Damn, I like that. I really like that. That you have that barrier there, that sort of that wall of protection for yourself. That a lot of us are left ourselves very open and vulnerable to. Hey, right here.
Yeah, and of course, I'm not away from that. I still have Wi-Fi in my house and all that other stuff that most of us probably know isn't the safest thing based on the radiation that it's creating.
Oh, I like
balance. You're gonna go down the rabbit hole. Be careful.
Yeah, we don't want to. Don't take me down the rabbit hole. I've already been there and back.
Wait. Hold on. Wi-Fi radiation. Wait. Hold on. We're going there. We're going there because that's amazing. Wi-Fi radiation. It comes right up, bro.
Of course it does. Well, you can listen to any microwave expert, which there's many scientists that are microwave experts, and you can listen to them talk about Wi-Fi, and then you can decide for yourself if you think it's safe or not.
But there are currently no known health risks in humans coming from Google.
Now, here's the thing: are you looking on Google or are you looking on DuckDuckGo?
Oh, so there's a difference.
Well, of course there is, because the media censorship is real, and we all know that.
Yeah.
They are the ones that control everything, therefore they control what content goes out, and we all have to be aware of that.
I agree with
that.
But
anyways, there's again a big rabbit hole that you will go down with a lot of this stuff. But deep down in my core, I just know that I'm trying to be the best person that I can, put out positive music that I know that will help people. And I'm a big time metalhead. I grew up playing metal, tons of metal bands. I love Slayer and Pantera, and, a lot of the big guys. And I may not like their lyrics so much, especially now these days, but man, that music, it just speaks to my soul.
Yeah, man.
It helped me get through a time when I was going through depression as a child because of what I saw. And then I got angry. I got into metal and I felt better.
Yeah.
But I hit a wall. eventually it was a dead end, and I needed to pursue further. Why am I angry now? And I found this pathway of spirituality and letting go of these angry feelings and forgiving and just trying to focus on gratitude and being the best person I can and to figure out how to use my gifts to help others.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean that there has to be like you did with your phone. There has to be sort of a barrier, and because and a lot of people know. Not everyone knows, but a lot of people know that there is there is a war out for your mind. Not to quote Alex Jones, but there is, there is a war out for your mind, and people are trying to dissuade you, whether it's corporate interest or government interest or technology, technocratic interest, whatever. There is people actively playing with us now, and you see it with, with all this crazy stuff that's going on in Russia and Ukraine, where like we don't know what's true. I like that's another some of your lyrics where it's like we're being told different things by different entities, and we're not sure if it's truth. We're not sure if it's made up. Like the what's that? The ghost of Kiev or something. It was just some video game. Like some of these images that are coming out from the Ukraine Russian war going on right now, or the invasion of Ukraine, is like these are coming out of video games, and this is getting posted on ABC. These are supposed to be our trusted news networks, and they're videos from like 10 years ago. It's like all these different images that's being served up to us. What like why are they being served up? What's the purpose? Why? Who's trying to do what? Who's trying to convince who of what? And it's always
Exactly.
and
These
so
are the questions that we all need to have.
absolutely, absolutely. And so when I see you with your flip phone, and like to me, that's the most woke thing I've seen in years. You know what I'm saying? Like there's if you want to get woke, cut yourself off from these fucking different sources, man. And it's like you said, you mentioned DuckDuckGo, and I think Brave another. I have it on my phone here. If you guys ever are Brave, Quant, different search engines give you different information, and it's very, very interesting to see the difference in search results. And so I don't know, man. Like, how do you guys disseminate information when you guys are trying to be informed on a subject? And it could be whatever the subject, but how do you guys disseminate? How do you find what paths do you guys take to sort of get to the truth of a subject of interest?
Yeah, that's a very hard one. You have to look at tons of different sources, and then you have to weigh in with your own intuition what you feel is real. You have to start to open up these other senses that you have. It's not just 5 senses that we have. People are realizing we have much more, and when you meditate, you pray, and you realize the energy that you're putting out and that you can get back, you'll realize these things. You have to look through multiple sources, and then trust your intuition. And I don't have a better answer than that, unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah, it's a challenge for everybody right now. Just discernment and your better judgment based on every experience you've had in life that you know to be real.
Yeah, man. Lucky my wife and kids at a friend. So nice to have some time alone. Rare. Oh my God, Robbie, enjoy that time. I am home in bed with my dog, and a hurt back, but getting high and laying in bed listening has made my afternoon. Robbie, love you, baby. I love you, boo.
Thank you. We'll send you those human vibes.
There you go. There you go.
That's right.
So what is your guys' plans and any releases, any live shows? I know you guys are mostly studio band at this point, but what's the future hold for getting out there and you just released your single. Everybody go and check out StoneTribe's latest song, which I'm just gonna put the link in here, and Island Time, and go check it out. But this is a single. So what's on the horizon? We got albums, we got tours. What's going on with y'all?
Yeah, a little bit really of all the above, I guess. We're hard at work on a new album. It's our first full-length album. So we're about, I don't know, halfway into that whole debacle.
What makes it a debacle?
Like, people don't realize what goes into writing an album in general, but when you have just two members, so we're doing obviously all like we mentioned, all the production. That's all the different instruments that go into it, all the different takes of recording. Everything's being mixed, produced, and just a lot goes into it. And we're trying to do at least 10, 12 tracks to make it like a legit full length album. So it's taken its toll, but at the same point in time, we're having so much fun. The music that we're coming out with is the best stuff we've ever come out with. We both agree it's so fun, it's so unique, and it's so approachable still. It's like, man, I don't know, it might be just the right ingredients that we finally figured out, and so we're on this mission to make this approachable, but also really come from the heart. And I think we found the right balance for that. Yeah, so really excited to share that. That's going to be probably at the summertime, maybe towards the end of the year. We'll see as it progresses. We'll keep people in the loop.
Yeah, please do.
Other than that, man, we're just we're waiting for the demand to do like a big live tour. Honestly, we just figured we're gonna do this a different way to to try it, because we've toured, we've done like the live band thing every single week, and you're always out doing shows, and every day is dedicated to practice or gear breakdown, gear setup, and it's a really busy lifestyle. And it's one great way to build your band up. And another great way in the current era is coming out with your stuff, putting it out there and streaming it. And if people like it enough and they want to see it live, then you build the demand that way. That's what we're trying to do. It's kind of unique, but we're going to put together a small DJ, drummer ensemble. We'll have a cool little live setup for certain shows and little pop-in live performances we'll do, but no big tours until people are like, all right, guys, what's it going to take to get you on tour? And then we'll see where we're at. Yep.
Yeah. Going on tour right now, or I mean, right now especially, but I mean, geez, as an independent band, doing it all yourself, going on tour is, I mean, it's costly. I mean, there's no way to put it. It's like you're either breaking even or you're paying. And no one wants to pay to play, but that's sort of this old model of thinking. I think like when you have especially over the pandemic, when you have the rise of live streaming like Twitch. I mean, Twitch has grown exponentially in the last couple of years, especially since I've been a part of it. There's just different ways to get it out there. I mean, you guys are a studio band. You guys are doing pretty good with just doing your online marketing and working remotely and sort of putting your resources in different areas other than, renting a van or buying a van and then paying all these musicians and then dealing with hotels and fucking where are we gonna eat and I want my stipend and my tum hurts and I'm not playing and all the shit that goes with having a collective of human beings all trying to exist in a small space for hours on end just to sort of get out and then put all your energy on the stage and then try to go to sleep afterward. It's wild.
You don't want to point your fingers, but you drummers, we know about you.
Yes, drummers. You sons of bitches. I love you guys. No, I feel that, yo. I feel that with the drummers. I do.
Always the drummer. He's always the guy that's like, I'm not going to play this show. You suck. I hate you guys. And then he's there at the very end. Oh, you fucking crazy person. How do we deal with this? How do we keep dealing with this? But we love you, so we do.
Yeah. Be cool if they got a Twitch and did live shows. Then the concert is everywhere. Yeah. I always give it up for Twitch. Twitch is such a awesome platform for live music right now. Are you guys familiar with Twitch in any way?
I don't know that we've done much on it, but we are like expanding into every platform that we can find that's worthy of at least being on. And so it's probably one of many that we're signed into that we're not actively engaged with yet.
Yeah, we've never even been on our own TikTok. We are like on
profile pictures in black and white. That means it's really old. That's the last pictures. We haven't updated it in a while.
Yo, you know, everybody at their own time. Obviously, you guys are finding your success in what you're doing. But yeah, I definitely would, you know, I tell everybody to look into live streaming, even if it's not on Twitch. I mean, YouTube is great for it. Facebook sucks for it, but you know, do you, boo?
I
But
signed up and canceled a TikTok account 3 times now. We like signed up for it, and then said, "Okay, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm out." Then we canceled. We're like, "We really should do TikTok because everybody's on
Yeah,
TikTok."
it's
And
just
then we're like, "I don't
horrible.
want to do TikTok. Kill it. Cancel it.
Yeah.
I'm taking the stand." And then we're like, "Man, but like so and so just did this video, and it's like 100,000 views. We probably should get back on TikTok."
Yeah, it's just it's a double-edged sword, and I don't want that shit on my phone.
oh my God, it's the devil. TikTok.
Again.
Let me tell you. Again, everybody, just take a sweet look at it. Can you put that up again for us?
Yeah.
Dan, let's see that sweet.
It's because I'm really a big Star Trek fan, so I was like, Scotty, I know you're out there. Get me out of here.
Cartagena, I'm not playing Waiting for Tonight right now. Okay, you're gonna have to you get to save that for Reina's stream. They're calling for me to sing J-Lo, and I refuse. So
Should we do a little acapella, J-Lo, real quick?
Waiting for tonight. Oh, with you will be waiting for tonight.
What was that? Yeah.
It is well.
Sprinkle a little blood on it.
Where's those images of Satan? Let's get that in here. No, but for just to kind of circle back to TikTok, TikTok is the devil. But wartime on TikTok is crazy to see all the shit, and who knows what's real, what's not. But you are seeing like, you know, firsthand experience with soldiers on their TikTok and like floating on a fucking like Russian soldiers are doing their own TikToks from their parachutes, and they're just like, yeah, we're about to go invade and shit. It's wild. So I mean, it's nuts, but also TikTok is becoming a very popular live streaming platform where you can actually make good money off it. I'm seeing a lot of really good musicians who have great setups, and of course you got to like sort of fit it in this little screen, but it's really interesting to see. And they're having streams that are like high quality. You can hear all the instrumentations beautifully. That it's all dialed in. And they're doing it through TikTok, and they're making good money. I mean, it's not the greatest money. It's not, you know, if you come from the live gigging world, you know that it can be a viable way to make some money. It's not always that, but it can be. So it's just really interesting what you can do with these platforms from your living room, and you can reach so many more. I mean, my wife played for, what was it, Reina? My wife was playing for like 15,000 people or something like a couple weeks ago, just hanging out. 15,000 people just, living their lives listening to her play her ukulele. So it's
amazing.
It is amazing. And so I always sort of go for, I always sort of push that. But obviously, again, you guys are doing great with what you're doing, and you guys are, the thing is that you guys are open for new ideas, right? Like even from the start, we're talking about NFTs and different ways of getting music out there. And so what's beautiful is that you guys have open ears and open eyes, and you guys allow these sort of new ideas to come in, and I think that's amazing. And then you have people who are just sort of like so blocked off. It's like, I only go play live music. I only lug my gear around everywhere I go for little pay and drive hours and hours and hours to play for 10 people. And that's mostly the staff, and like, I got to do it like this. And it's just like, there's other ways. I'm not hating on the people, the troubadours, the ones who are out there on the road fucking playing. My boy Matt Suarez, who is on Twitch, is a Twitch partner, and he does live gigs all the time. So it's like he's hitting both worlds, and he's doing really well. He owns a house like right outside Seattle, so it's like he's doing well with just music, and he's looking at these different avenues, and he's open to it, and he sees the future. And yeah, man, I mean, I think that's
I'm a live music fan. I think live music should be just everywhere.
Absolutely.
Like I'm always shocked when you go into like a downtown city and you don't see more of it, because I always felt like, man, what's a great ambiance in a restaurant? Somebody over there playing piano in the corner, live piano. You can feel the music. You can't just hear it come through the speakers or whatever. You can go and request a cover from them if you want. Throw a tip their way or something. It's like it's an experience.
Yes.
My issue with like why they haven't made it a bigger deal is just because, like, man, they don't pay shit, so nobody wants to go play it.
Right. Especially now.
It's like, it's any other artist, any other professional, there's a certain amount of stuff that you want to do for just getting it out there. But then there's also like, hey, my time's worth something, isn't it? To all you people enjoying this art that they're putting out there. So go and tip the piano player in the corner if you want to see him around more often. Go and throw a few bucks in the guitar player on the sidewalks case instead of walking by, because they're freaking earning it. They're like actually out there entertaining your ass.
For sure. I love that. I love that song that girl. It comes from TikTok, but it's like, what is it? It's like, it cost that much because it took fucking hours. It just goes on. It's so good. It's like every artist hears that is like, yes, I know exactly what this lady is talking about. It's like, yeah, it costs this much because it takes fucking hours. I've dedicated my life to this, and for you to just be like, you can accept this. This is okay. No, that's the beautiful thing about artists and being your own boss in that sense, is like you can sort of level up to where you want to be. If you want to be that working musician who's hitting all the bars and restaurants and weddings and all that shit, beautiful, do your thing. But know your worth and know your network and it's do your thing. I encourage anybody to go spread art in any way possible, and if you can make money, great. Do it to the fullest. Just I don't know.
Internet is such a weird thing to art. It like devalued it in one aspect by making it like replicatable on mass scale and available now to anybody. Music, pictures. You can pull up Mona Lisa right now, and you got it right there in high definition on your screen. Why travel all the way to France and looking at the Louvre or whatever? So it's just kind of like people have that instant gratification option, but on the other end of it, it's like now you can reach everybody, whereas these independent artists could only play their blocks. Before they could play their downtown area, they didn't have the ability to go and reach somebody in another country or to reach somebody across the US and another city. And so it's really weird. It's like how you use it and how effective you are using it is the determining factor of whether you're successful or not. It's like internet is the key right now.
It is. It really is. And you guys are taking advantage of that, and you're doing an awesome job. So we're wrapping up here, and so I would love to get any kind of final thoughts or anything that we should be expecting, or anything that you want to sort of put out there as we say goodbye.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate your time, and I love the depth of conversation that you put into your work here. I think that's just an awesome thing to peel back some layers and get to the real of people and why they do what they do. So
I appreciate
great experience. So yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks everybody for tuning in, checking it out. Island Time's the new single, so I'm going to plug that obviously, but subscribe to our channel as well, forward to what's going on.
There it is.
Got some great new music around the corner. And Dan eats children's cereal.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, that was random.
I don't even eat cereal anymore, unless it's children's cereal.
Tricks are for kids.
Yeah,
they
just
really
the marshmallows.
Yeah. Too much sugar for me these days. I can't handle the sugar. Isn't it funny how like you get older and food turns on you?
Yes, it does. It tells you, your body tells you what you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Nate and Dan. You guys are awesome. Fucking everyone, go out and click on that goddamn link right now, Stone Tribe Music. And if you're listening on the audio side of this, go into the show notes and click on the links provided and go support your boys. And thank you guys again, and I'll be in contact about the audio release and all that stuff. So I appreciate your time as well, and have a lovely rest of your day, guys.
No, thanks, brother. Thanks,
You too,
everybody.
Mike.
Be good
Thank
out
you
there.
so much. Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Peace out, y'all. All right, guys. That was StoneTribe. StoneTribe. No, those guys are awesome. I love that. That was so fun. I love it when people play along in my weird little. Let's talk about your serious addictions to drugs. Let's talk about your spiritual awakening that is sometimes very private. I really do appreciate that. And more